Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dear Bhante Sankhya and dear friends in Dhamma, today you have listened to many auspicious Dhamma talks, to Bhante Sankhya's chanting on Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, which was very beautiful, very soothing. And you have prepared your mind for the Dhamma discussion. And for this discussion, I thought it would be wonderful to talk about the many things about the Buddha because it is the Vesak time. And I know that the Vesak full moon has already passed. That was on 26th, and today we are on 30th, but you can still see the same full moon that the Buddha witnessed from his own naked eyes. And for this discussion, let us begin with some qualities that I learned from another teaching, but based on uh, Sonadanda Sutta. In that Sonadanda Sutta, you find that Sonadanda was a wealthy person, reputed, and even the king has honored him with land and villages. And he is a very knowledgeable person, he's well respected, handsome person. He was also revered like a religious teacher in that region. When he was ready to visit the Buddha, other people told him not to go because the Buddha is just a recluse. Like the Buddha is just nobody. But you don't deserve to go see the Buddha. That's what Sonadanda was told. But Sonadanda, as a very learned person, he had already studied who the Buddha was. And among the qualities that he explained, Sonadanda says, Samano kalu bo Gotamo. So these are very nice qualities. Ehi swagatavadi. Ehi swagatavadi. This is a quality that is so rare among human beings. The Ehi swagatavadi is like when you happen to see the Buddha, he's not busy. He's like welcoming you. He's telling you, okay, very nice that you came. That kind of language. But for us today, because we are affected by some kind of drama in our mind, we don't welcome people. We ignore people. We try not to engage in conversations. We are so preoccupied with the activities that we have to do. And isn't it wonderful that someone welcomes you and puts aside all the activities that they have and give full attention to you? But nowadays we tend to listen to some conversations partially and we turn toward cell phones. In our cell phones, we have more interesting things. Therefore, at some part of the conversation, you find yourself immersed in something else other than the conversation that you were just engaged in. So this is happening now, that you're saying something so important, you think it's so interesting, and then the other person isn't listening to you. So we are learning about these qualities of the Buddha from other people, as they have heard who the Buddha was before even seeing the Buddha for the first time. So this I find as a wonderful and marvelous quality that is so rare among human beings. I have seen people of that type who are so busy, but when you happen to go see them, they make time for you. They make sure that you are the the best guest to have at that time. And let's go to the next quality. So this is Ehi Swagatavadi Sakhilo. Sakhilo is polite, very humble, polite. Polite is a quality that is so rare. And the Buddha shows that, why is he, like, I'm asking this question from you because this is a discussion. Why is he this way? Why is he welcoming and polite? And why others aren't so welcoming and not so polite? Can you say something about that? Are you there?
Durne, we didn't actually
Yeah.
hear it. Sorry.
You didn't? Are you able to hear? Do others have a problem with my computer sounds?
Now we hear. I think that is in our side. A
Oh,
technical problem with us.
I see. But others are listening. Can anyone else jump in? Sarupa?
We can hear you, Bante.
That's not my question though.
If you can tell us the question.
So the question is, why is the Buddha this way? Why is the Buddha so welcoming and why is the Buddha so polite in the presence of anybody he happened to see?
He is most kind-hearted person, and he has patience and develop extreme patience. And
Okay, thank you.
And for all beings. So he doesn't matter who is in front of him. So he has the same compassion for each and everyone.
He has
Yeah,
the Mahakaruna Gunaya.
he has all that, and that is because he has
No
developed.
difference between anybody.
Well, I think the answer that I am really looking forward to is when someone has lust in their mind. They are so agitated when other people are around. Look at the teenagers and those who are like secretly dealing with some lustful engagement of thought. They get so easily agitated. Have you seen that in the society?
yes, very well.
Exactly. Thank you. So the Buddha, when he is Vitaraga, he is lust free, he is not preoccupied that way. You see that, you see that is it possible that someone can have that quality? It's possible, right? It's possible that someone can have that quality, but now this is because the Buddha is Buddha and he had that quality. He didn't have an engagement with lust with anyone because normally those things are not expressed. Those things are secret and private for people. So therefore they tend to take so much space of somebody's mind. And when someone is dealing with so much lust, which is not a bad thing, we are all sensual beings. We go through different stages of attachment, of being occupied with people and craving for people. That's the influence of hormones in us, right? Our intelligence is hijacked by hormones. I normally teach this to teenagers. Some suddenly the neighborhood girl who was not so interesting before becomes interesting because of the influence of hormones. Now, in the case of the Buddha, he was not occupied in his mind that way. And what other reasons do we find that makes him this presentable to the people? Also, the quality of not having any hatred in his mind. And I think that speaks to Mahakaruna quality that he has cultivated not passion, not even fashion, but compassion. You see that? When compassion has been developed, that kind of a person has a lot of space for friendliness, also like a melting heart. And this melting heart it's a very nice, like soft heart. I remember seeing someone, um, this is in the workplace, in work environment. Um, I happen to say politely, though, that are we so loud in this space that we are working on this document? Are we so loud that maybe others cannot focus when we are so loud on this computer? But this didn't go so well to the to to my colleague. She started uh, she started getting agitated. She said, "Are you saying that I am so loud? Are you saying that to me?" And then she went and talked to other colleagues and talked to boss that I said that. And then I happened to use an English word without knowing much of it. I said, "Is it a meltdown or something?" They said, "That's a very bad word." No, later they said, "That's a very bad word to use. Meltdown is like someone who is so angry." So, uh, and these kind of situations, we don't have so much clarity to understand, and we use some words, and later on we become good friends again because now we have passed that stage and we know certain words can hurt other people, and we become sensitive when we talk about them. So with some language limitations and all that. Anyway, my point here is, it's not that meltdown quality that the Buddha had. His heart is very soft. He's like this warm person, warm personality, and that is so dear to other people. So this is polite. And then the other one is sammodako. When you see the Buddha, he's sammodako. Sammodako is a quality of smiling. We have that as Sri Lankans. We smile. We smile, and that's our first greeting. Nowadays, with the mask on, you cannot show that you are smiling. But our eyes can show that we are smiling. Our facial expressions can show that we have this smiling face. That's the first thing. If you happen to go see a stranger and you want to get something done from them, the very first thing we do is smiling. And the Buddha was like that. He would smile. Sammodako. And now the next one is Abha Kutiko. Abha is like open. His hands are open, like this is like a hugging quality. This openness. I think all of that comes when that mind is free from lobha, dvesha, and moha. These are like inherent qualities of a person who is free from those involvements of thoughts in the mind. And that kind of a heart has Mahakaruna, great compassion. And now the next one is Uttana Mukho. His face is not turned down. His face is looking at you, not looking away. There are some people who just pass by and then they don't even look. They just say something like "Good morning," and that's it. No communication with eyes, with their whole senses. There's no 100% attention. There's only just a little attention given. These kind of people are there. And now another quality that the Buddha has is Pubbabhasi. He's not shy to speak first. He speaks first, Pubbabhasi. He speaks as the very first person. He doesn't wait for the other person to talk. he goes and say, "Hi, hello, nice to see you. Can I help you? Is there anything I can do for you? Or do you have any questions for me? Or thank you for coming to see the monastery and the Sangha." That kind of, first speaking first, like if you happen to be in a classroom and you are just starting that class and there are 30 people in the class, nobody talks to each other. They are very shy. So sometimes the professor has to make them speak, saying, "Okay, tell your name and then tell something silly that happened to you." This makes people talk. This makes people heard by other people. This makes people connect with others. Or you are given a task to introduce the person next to you, so therefore you must talk. You have to ask their name and tell it to the audience, and you have to also ask, what is your favorite food? And they'll say ice cream or something. And then you are the one who is presenting to the audience about that person. So naturally communication happens. Humans love to talk. When they become friends, you can't stop them talking. Silence is so big, so loud. But when it comes to such person like the Buddha, he would be the first one to talk. It is here that we find that the Blessed One is perfect, Arahato, fully awakened, Samma Sambuddho, accomplished in knowledge and conduct, Vijjacharna Sampanno, Sugato, well gone, Lokavidu, knower of world, supreme guide for those who wish to train, Purisa Dhamma Sarati, Sattha Deva Manusanam, teacher for gods and men, and awakened, Buddho. So these are other qualities that Sonadanda appreciated. And then he has, if you read Sonadanda Sutta, you see how people looked at him, someone who is very well heard, Bahusutta person, very well learned person like Sonadanda, knew the Buddha in this way. He said, "Samano kalu bhogotamo adha kula pabbajito, mahadhana mahabhoga." So he became a monk from a rich, affluent, and wealthy family. They knew that. Samananang kalu bhogotamang tirorattha tirojanapada panhang pucchitung agachanti. People come from distant lands and distant countries to ask questions from him. He knew about these qualities. Samano kalu bhogotamo uchcha kula pabbajito asambhinna khattiya kula. He was born from eminent family and an unbroken aristocratic lineage. This is known among people. Samano kalu bhogotamo kammavadi, kiryavadi, apapa purekaro brahmanyaya pajaya. He teaches the efficacy of karma, the effects of karma. He doesn't wish any harm upon any community, anybody. It's known among people. That's the metta quality that he has a reputation for. Samano kalubo gotamo bahunang acharya pacharyo. He is a teacher for many. Samano kalubo gotamo kina kamarago vigata chapallo. Now this is the other that quality that we were talking about. The recluse Gautama has ended sensual desire and is rid of hatred. So these are qualities that make a person presentable. And these are the qualities that made him a Pubbavacha, someone who Pubbabhasa, he speaks first. Because he doesn't have any other preoccupations in mind. He's fully present. So these qualities made him a wonderful and marvelous person. And when he was born, as you find in Majjhima Nikaya Acharya Bhuta Sutta, we discussed that before on a Monday, that he made a statement having walked on 7 lotuses. This is a wonderful and marvelous quality of the Buddha, that he will be Aggo Hamasmi Lokasa. He will be the greatest to the world, Jetto, the most senior to the world, Setto, also the supreme to the world. I am Antima Jati. This will be my last birth, Nattidani Punabhava. There won't be any repetition of my existence. So to understand the Buddha more, I will take you to Arya Pariyesana Sutta, where the Buddha had a conversation between Upaka and the Buddha himself. So the Buddha was asked, are you a god? Are you a universal monarch? To that the Buddha says, Ahang Sabba Vibhu Sabba Vidu Hamasmi. I am the champion, the knower of all. Sabba Vibhu Sabba Vidu Hamasmi. Sabbe Sudhammesu Anupalipto. Unsullied in the midst of all things. This means he's not attached, but everything is around him. The king's kingdom, wealthy families or poor families, beautiful, attractive, all kinds of people around him, but he's not attached to any of those. Such a mind is so much at peace, so not worried about anybody. Sabbesu dhammesu anupalito, sabban jaho tanha khaye vimutto. I have given up all, so sabban jaho, abandon all, given up all. Tanha khaye, freed from the ending of craving. He has become free by ending his craving, even to an existence, not even a human existence or a divine existence. He does not have any home in any sansaric place. This makes him a presentable person. Sayang abhinyaya kamuddiseya. Since I know for myself, sayang, for myself, I understood myself. Kamuddiseya, whose follower should I be? To Upaka, the Buddha says, when Upaka asked, like, who are you following? Who's your teacher? The Buddha is asking, like, who should I follow when I have realized these things by my own, on my own, by myself? So this is the Buddha himself talking about himself, his own realization, the victory, the best victory he has achieved. Name acharyo atti. I do not have a teacher. There's no one like me. Sadiso mena vijjati. Because after he reached enlightenment, he sat in the vicinity of that Bodhi tree and he stared at it, in which he had deep contemplations. His eyes were glued to the Bodhi tree, but he was seeing what he had achieved in his mind. He was staring, and he had realized that there's nobody in the world who teaches this. There's nobody. Such a victory he achieved, and that he is now going to teach. There is no one like me. Sadiso me navijjati. Sadeva kasmin lokasmin. In the world with its gods. Natti me patipuggalo. I have no counterpart. Nobody is equal to me. He had teachers that he followed, but then those teachers only brought him so far, and then he unlocked but has not been spoken at that time, and became enlightened. Ahang hi araha loke, for in this world I am the perfected one, araha, someone who has perfected the mind. Ahang sattha anuttaro, I am the supreme teacher. Ekom hi samma sambuddho, I alone am fully awakened. I alone, ekom hi, I alone, samma sambuddho, fully awakened. He recalled the time when he was a little boy, and then the very first thing he did was to remember that and then bring those jhana absorptions that he had cultivated. And when he began teaching, the first thing he taught was abandon the extremes. Even when you are giving counseling to somebody, you have to ask them to abandon any extremes, any obsessions, any addictions that they have, and then make them realize the middle path where they should stand. Having made them come to the middle path, there they will look around and they will say, oh, they went on that extreme or this extreme. In the world, people tend to go toward one of these extremes to end suffering, either to choose giving sufferings to this body or to give extreme pleasures to this body. But the latter normally involves no supreme enlightenment. It's all about indulgence. When indulging, there is no way you can achieve any freedom because indulging arouses lust, hatred, and delusion. So these two extremes have to be abandoned and come to middle path before teaching the noble truths. Arya Satya, the Buddha taught, abandon the extremes. When you abandon the extremes, then only you can come to the middle grounds in which you learn the proper speech, proper thoughts, proper view to have. You learn the proper actions, you learn the proper effort, you learn the proper mindfulness, and you also learn the path. Uh, you learn the samadhi, stillness. This is altogether the path. This is the Eightfold Path that puts you in the middle ground. And then he said, Siti bhutom hi nibbuto, cooled Siti bhuta. His brain is cool because the brain is not sending signals in 6 directions to the eye, to the ears, to the nose, to the tongue, to the body, not even to the mind itself. When the mind is so free, the brain, the nervous system begins to cool down. This is what happens in meditation. And he has reached the final stage of that, in which he says, Siti bhutos nibbuto, cooled and nibbuto. It's like a candlelight gone, nibbuto, extinguished, candlelight gone. When there is, when there is fuel, the candlelight continues to burn. When there is no fuel to burn, you no longer locate a candlelight. It is there because of the conditions that were present for it to burn. Now, when it does not have any conditions any longer, where will you find any candlelight? This alone is a great point to reflect for meditation. Okay, and then he said, Dhamma chakkam pavattetum gacchami kasinang purang. I am going to the city of Kasi to roll forth the wheel of Dhamma. The wheel is now stopped, rolled down. So he's going to turn the wheel of Dhamma. That's why Dhamma Chakra. Pavattetun, to roll it so that it continues, it still continues like this today, that we all discuss Dhamma because of him. Andhi bhutasmin lokasmin, in this world that is so blind. Andhi bhutasmin lokasmin, in this world that is very much blind. He looked around and found nobody is giving the light to this world. Beings are being born in different places, in different homes based on their predispositions, Bhaktileshas. Nobody seems to help them. Therefore, the whole world, lokasmin, you find Andhi Bhuta, blinded. Ahang chahang ahang chang amata dundubing. Ahang chang amata dundubing. I will beat the deathless drum. Amata dundubi. Dundubi is the drum. Ahang chang. I will make it noise. The drum of deathlessness, that this is how everybody can achieve the deathlessness. I will preach that, he says. Then Upaka says, that is wonderful. Yatako twang also patijanasi arahasi ananta jinoti. According to what you say, you seems to be the infinite victor. Ananta jina, infinite victor. You seems to have won. Madisave jina honti. Ye patta asavakyam. The victors are those who like me, the Buddha says. If you speak about victors, it definitely should be a real victory like the victory I achieved. I have achieved the ending of defilements. Ye patta asavakyam. I have conquered bad qualities. Jita me papaka dhamma. Like in the Gatha Sabba Papa Sakaranang Kusala Subha Sampada, you find Jita me papaka dhamma, that I have won, I have conquered papaka dhamma. In Sabba Papa Sakaranang, it teaches us to not engage in any evil actions. Kusala Subha Sampada, to cultivate wholesomeness, to cultivate wholesome thoughts. And Sachitta Paryodapanam, taming your mind, Etam Buddhana Sasana. This is the teaching of the Buddha. And here too, before even the Buddha began teaching, he said, Jitame papaka dhamma, I have conquered the evil dhammas, evil natures. That is why I am a victor. Tasma hamupako jinoti. That is why I am a victor. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to take an example so you understand the evil nature of the mind. Let's take giving a dana, for example. Suppose someone is giving a dana with the intention of having a relationship with someone. Do you think that kind of dana is done with a pure state of mind? You can answer.
No, because that dana is just giving to get something.
Exactly. It has an intention inside the person's mind. So if your mind is clean when you are giving to somebody, how about the recipient? If the recipient has an evil intention inside the mind, is that dana beneficial?
No, it is not going to
When
be.
you have return expectations, then you don't get the benefit of giving the dana.
You may get some benefits,
Some
but
benefit.
It's
but
not the best benefits.
yeah.
I'm talking about the recipient too, that the recipient is not in the sila, in any sila.
So he is not worthy to get that dana, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He is, if it is sangha, any sangha you can offer, but if the sangha is in sila, in proper sila, you cannot imagine how much benefits it will produce. And if the giver also understands that his mind should be so based in kusala, in wholesome, pure state of mind, and the recipient is in the pure state of mind, then that person knows how to give. This is why the dana that the Buddha gives to Sariputta, Venerable Sariputta, is much more beneficial than a dana given from Venerable Sariputta to the Buddha, because the Buddha knows better benefits and his mind is even more clear. It's, it's unbelievably clear, and he understands the benefits of giving so much better than Venerable Sariputta does. Therefore, the benefits produced by that kind of giving is so good. It's not based in any evil intention, papa chetana. It's clear now, right?
Yeah.
So when we give, we always need, if our intention is good, it's going to give you tremendous benefits. Therefore, our thought patterns needs to be continuously observed, and we need to be watchful about it. And this Vesak season, when you see the full moon, and now it is uh, the lunar, it's going to the darker side, but you can go to the light. You can go to the light side, by bringing your mind's darknesses to the light. And this light gives you so much faith toward who the Buddha actually was. And that way, you are going to, someone's mic is not muted, you are going to have the benefits, tremendous benefits, and you are going to experience punya. And you also now cultivate a kusala, which becomes even more important to you, because kusala is a skill that you now have developed, because you know that you have purified your mind before giving, and you have good intention. Therefore, you are not taking advantage from the person that you are giving this dana to. That kusala is going to save you from going to hell realms. This is why when we give Buddha puja, when we offer anything to Sangha, the intention should be understood. Our sila should be cleansed. We need to be based in the 5 precepts or even higher precepts, and that develops a kusala state of your mind. So during the remaining part of this discussion, I like to walk you through some parts of long discourses, Diga Nikaya discourses, where you find the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, in which you find the 80-year-old Buddha. The Buddha says, I am now old, elderly, and senior. I am advanced in years and have reached the final stage of life. Ahanko Panananda Itarahi Jinno, old, Buddho, elderly, Mahallako, senior. Addhagato Vayo Anupatto, I am advanced in years and have reached the final stage of life, Vayo Anupatto. I am currently 80 years old. Asitiko me Vayo Vattati. My age is 80. So this teaching was given when he was 80. Just as a feeble cart keeps going by relying on straps, Sayatahapi Ananda Jajjara Sakatang Veta Missakena Yapeti. Veta is like that which has tightened the cart, the straps that keep the cart together, but that is still old. This is, just imagine an old person talking, an old person whose teeth has go on and barely able to walk, and the body has to be dragged from one place to another, and when that person gets so sick, it beats them so hard that they go through excruciating pain. This is the kind of life the Buddha was experiencing. This is the human aspect of the Buddha. And he says, in the same way, the realized one's body, Tathagata's body, keeps going by relying on straps. Or so you would think. Evameva ko ananda veta missakena manye Tathagatassa kayo yapeti. Sometimes the Tathagata not for, so he goes into meditation to remove the afflictions of the body. Sometimes the realized one, not focusing on any signs, and with the cessation of certain feelings, enters and remains in the signless immersion of the heart. Only then does the Tathagata's body becomes more comfortable. So the meditation he had developed helped him to remain free from bodily afflictions. Yasming ananda samaye tathagato sabba nimittanang amanasikara ekaccanang vedananang nirodha animittang ceto samadhing upasampajya viharati. Pasutaro ananda tasming same tathagatassa kayo hoti. Then only the Tathagata's body becomes pasu, easy and comfortable. So his mind was so strong, the body was ready to give up. Therefore, the Buddha gives this advice to each and every one of us. He says, so Ananda, be your own island, your own refuge, with no other refuge. Let the teaching be your island and your refuge, with no other refuge. Tasmati Ananda Atta Deepa Viharata, Atta Sarana, Ananya Sarana, Dhamma Sarana, Ananya Sarana. Take yourself. Now the Buddha is saying that what helped him was the kind of meditation he developed for himself. Not even the Buddha's attendant monk was able to help the Buddha when the Buddha was sick. So the Buddha is telling Venerable Ananda to have that kind of capacity in your mind. This is such a strong example that Buddha is giving here, that keep yourself as a refuge to you. Keep yourself as an island with no other refuge. Let the Dhamma be your refuge, Sarana. And let Tathagata be your refuge. The Tathagata, you take him as an example. When we take the Buddha to our life, we do develop such qualities that makes us a safe haven, a safe place for ourselves to be without having any worry. There's no better time than this now during a time like this when you see lots of white flags coming in Facebook. Somebody somewhere has died. Someone has died. And this is because of COVID pandemic. It's affecting everyone's lives. People can't reach from there's no any medication proper. There's no access to hospitals in some areas in the world. There's no oxygen, enough oxygen to keep somebody alive. And rich or poor or anybody who is afflicted and who has come down with COVID-19 has sometimes taken by the Mara. Only some have survived, and some have had access to some sort of strong will strong mind power to beat this. And it could be one of us at some point. Therefore, today is the best day to meditate. Today, right now, is the best day to cleanse your mind, to achieve some state of purification of mind using any type of meditation that you can use from YouTube or from any place. So, when the Buddha reached his 80th year, he felt that his days in this world were coming to an end. So he was noticing that, okay, there should be at some point that I may be leaving from this world. So he decided, to leave all these wealthy cities. He decided to leave all these kings, all the companions, and he decided to just travel. He decided to spend his days in peaceful and simple surroundings in Kusinagar, a small village in northern India. He preferred to leave behind him the large and prosperous cities. He did not want them. Starting point of his journey was Rajagaha, the capital of Magadha. So he journeyed on foot, accompanied by Venerable Ananda and many disciples. It was a long journey, and all these monks traveled through cities and villages on their way. By this time, Venerable Rahula has passed away, Yasodhara had already passed away, Venerable Moggallana had passed away, Venerable Sariputta had passed away. So such changes have happened. The significant, if during before the Buddha became the Buddha, the significant people like Yasodhara and Rahula, they have passed away. Now you see, when Rahula was born, he did the great renunciation. Normally, when a child is born, the father knows the rush of emotions that he feels. The rush of, there's a part in a father that makes them forever bound with their children. It's so much joy and so much happiness that they experience. And it is at that time that the Bodhisattva realized Rahulo Jato Bandharan Jato. Rahula the son was born, and that I see the bond here. How can I leave if I stay any longer? And then he used his willpower. I have to leave now. This is so hard, but I am doing this for everybody. This is why I am here. So he was a warrior. He fought for that decision and he stood with it. He left. So during his last days, his thoughts turned toward the welfare of monks. So he was continuously teaching about Sila, Samadhi, and Prajna, cultivating Sila, cultivating Samadhi, and cultivating Prajna. And also asking monks, like, do you have any questions for me? See how kind of him to say that. Even when Subhadda, a wandering ascetic, came, and the Venerable Ananda was stopping him from seeing the Buddha, saying, the Buddha is already so feeble, don't tire him, he's weary, don't ask questions from him. The Buddha overheard this conversation and said, ask him to come. And Subhadra came and asked this question. Venerable sir, there are these other teachers. Do you see that there is arahantship and attainments in their sasanas? And the Buddha said, forget about other sasanas. Just in any teaching where there is sila, samadhi, and prajna, the eightfold path taught properly, because eightfold path is sila, samadhi, and prajna, then you will see stream winners, sotapanna, once returners to sensuality. Sakadagami, non-returners to sensuality. They never return to sensual world, anagamis. And you also see arahants, those who have perfected their mind. It is only in my teaching, that kind of sasana is found. And here in this assembly of monks, even the last one, the least of those, have achieved at least the stream winner. They have gone against the current. They are niyato sambodhi parayano. They are not going to be born in any hell realms, but certainly they are running toward sambodhi, awakening. This is what the Buddha taught in those days when he was, and to Subhadda too. And Subhadda finally said, "Allow me to become a monk," and he became the last disciple of the Buddha. And the Buddha also taught 7 factors of awakening: sati, dhamma vichaya, virya, piti, passaddhi, samadhi, upekha. These are all about cultivating one's mind. And he taught 4 satipatthanas: kayanupassana, vedananupassana, chittanupassana, dhammanupassana. And again, he taught the Eightfold Path. And now you know in Mahaparinibbana Sutta you find the last illness of the Buddha. Buddha had not been staying very long at Belua when he came down with this very bad stomach problem. He became so weak. The severe sickness attacked him, and violent and deadly pains were given because of that sickness. But mindful and self-possessed, he bore them without any complaint. And then this thought came to his mind: it would not be right for me to pass away with this illness without addressing the monks, without taking leave from them. So let me now, by a strong effort of the willpower, suppress this sickness. Otherwise, he would have passed away at that point. Only so many people may have that ability. And when he began to recover, Venerable Ananda came to the Buddha and said, "I have seen how the Buddha suffered. And at the sight of that, even my body became weak and creeper. That's how much the Buddha suffered. Yet I had some little comfort in thinking that the Blessed One would not pass away until he had left some instructions for the order." Now, at this point, the Buddha said, "Instructions for the order? What more is there for me to teach?" The Buddha is sincerely asking. Now, the Buddha does not think, the Buddha himself says that Buddha does not think that he depends on the order or the order depends on him. This is such a pure statement. That order here means the Sangha. The Buddha does not think that the Sangha depends on him or he depends on Sangha. So he could have passed away because he had given the freedom for Sangha, he had given all the teachings. And when the teaching is available, then it is the responsibility of the Sangha to achieve. Bhikshu Sangha, Bhikshuni Sangha, Upasaka and Upasikas have the teachings and they can practice accordingly. And to Venerable Ananda, Buddha says, "Ananda, I am now grown old and full of years. My journey is drawing to its close. Therefore, Ananda, each of you should make the Dhamma as your island and have no other as the refuge. Don't go for any other refuge. And whoever after I am dead shall be an island unto themselves, who makes the Dhamma their island, the Dhamma their refuge, they will be the foremost among my monks." The Buddha tells the Dhamma to be taken as the teacher and Vinaya to be taken as the teacher. Although he was weak, he used every opportunity to teach Dhamma to his disciples. And he also even walked on arms round. He didn't wait until food was brought to him because there were large number of monks. And when he took the rains retreat, he asked monks to take rains in different places without staying in the same place because people were poor and they could not afford to look after that many monks. And now the Buddha says, take a mat, Ananda, let's go to the Chapala shrine, Chapala Chaitya, to pass the day. And it is here that the Buddha brings up about the four Iddhipadas, four uh, exertions. When anyone has practiced and developed four means of accomplishment, Chatur Iddhipada, Chanda, the liking to meditate, Chitta, the mind to meditate, Virya, effort to meditate, and Vimansa, investigation. When they have cultivated them to the fullest, if he wished to live for an eon, kalpayak in for an eon, or half a eon, they are able to do so. The Buddha said this 3 times. So at this time, the Buddha was contemplating on sustaining, thinking that maybe there is more to be done. And who was not listening? That was Venerable Ananda. He was like half listening. He was confused with the idea of the Buddha getting sick and getting weaker. And because of his negligence, there was nobody really nobody like wanting the Buddha. That kind of an understanding is presented, like that says that there's nothing more to be done. Like nobody wants me here. I don't need to prolong my death until for an eon. When the Buddha had said that 3 times, and Venerable Ananda did not make that request, then Buddha says, "You may leave now, Ananda." At that point, the Buddha reflected about the long years of teaching he had performed to fulfill his mission. He felt that he had given all the necessary instructions to his followers, both monks and the lay followers. Not only were they following his teachings, they were also able to teach the teachings to others. He therefore decided not to live up to a full lifespan and announced to Venerable Ananda that he would pass away in 3 months' time. So that's when the Buddha made that decision. Later, when Venerable Ananda remembered what the Buddha said, he begged the Buddha 3 times. But then Buddha said, "You are too late, Ananda. When I was telling that to you, you are negligent. You did not pay attention to it." And then the Buddha said, Buddha asked Venerable Ananda to gather all the monks and said, "All component things must grow old and pass away. Work out your liberation with diligence. Sabbe sank Vayadhamma sankara appamadena sampadeta." So, and then made the statement, at the end of 3 months' time, the Tathagata will pass away. My age is now full ripe. My life draws its close. Be diligent, be mindful and virtuous. Virtuous means come to Sila. Keep watch over your own hearts. Who lives out diligently the Dharma and discipline will live the rounds of rebirth and make an end of suffering. Whoever is diligent will make an end to suffering. And all the disciples of the Buddha began grieving because of the sad announcement they received. But they again began, all of them came forward to pay their last respects, and just one monk did not come. That was, according to the story, is Dhammarama. He did not know, the other monks did not know why he did not come. And then this matter was brought to the Buddha, and the monk had to come to the Buddha. And the monk said he wanted to show respect to the Buddha by attaining arahantship. And then the Buddha said, excellent, excellent. He who loves me should follow the example of that monk. He honors me most who is the one who practices my teachings, said the Buddha in praise of that monk. And then the Buddha decided to continue his journey in the morning. His next destination was the little village of Pava. At Pava, a goldsmith's son named Chunda gave Sukaramadava, a meal to the Buddha. And now this meal is Sukaramadava, is called Boar's Delight, like wild boar's delight. Some scholars believe it was a special delicious dish of mushrooms because pigs have to dig the earth and find it. So it is named as Sukaramadava, while others believe it to be a dish of wild boar's fresh flesh. And the Buddha said, if you have any of that cooked, serve it only to me and serve the remaining food to other monks. You don't serve this to any other person. You just serve this to me and then bury the rest. So Chunda accepted. And then Buddha praised, after having the meal, the Buddha praised Chunda for the meal that had refreshed and strengthened him after his journey. But soon after this, the Buddha suffered from an attack of the dysentery that he had been experiencing before. Sharp pains came to his body. By an effort of will, he was able to bear the pain. Though extremely weak, the Buddha decided to continue on immediately to Kusinaga, a little more than 6 miles away from where Chunda was. After a painful struggle, he reached a grove of sala trees just outside of the town. Then he said, Ananda, please make a couch ready for me. With its head to the north between two big sala trees, I am tired and I want to lie down. Now on that occasion, those two sala trees were covered with blossoms through the influence of the Devas. Though it was not the season, the trees were full of flowers and flowers were coming down. They scattered and sprinkled the Buddha with falling blossoms, as though out of respect for him. Then the Buddha said to Venerable Ananda, Ananda, the two big sala trees are scattering flowers on me as though they are paying their respects to me. But this is not how I should be respected and honored. Rather, it is the monks or nuns or the men or women who live according to my teachings. That should be the way to honor and respect me. A little while later, Venerable Ananda was nowhere to be seen. He had gone inside a hut and stood leaning against the door bar. Weeping, he thought, alas, I remain still but a learner. I'm still only a learner. One who has yet to work out his own perfection, and the master is about to pass away. He who is so kind, and the Buddha sending a message to Venerable Ananda, wrote him and said, Enough, Ananda, do not sorrow, do not cry. Have I not already repeatedly told you that there is separation and parting from all that is dear and beloved? How is it possible that anything that has been born has had a beginning should not die? How is it possible that Something that started, it has to end too. Such a thing is not possible that it stays forever. Ananda, you have served me so well. You were so kind to me. Your acts of kindness was seen. You were helpful. You did that gladly and you did that sincerely. And you were like that in your words and in your thoughts too. You have gained merit, Ananda. Keep on trying. You will soon be free of all human weaknesses. It is in a very short time you will attain arahantship. And this was a true prediction that he did become an arahant in a short time, within 3 months before the council, and he was there. And then to Venerable Ananda, Buddha said, now you go to Kusinaga and tell the people that tonight, in the last watch of the night, the Buddha will pass away into Nirvana. Come and see the Buddha before he passes away. This was told to people where Venerable Ananda went with monks and informed the people in that area. They were sad, stricken, and they came, they grieved. Men, women, children, everybody gathered around the Sala tree and said goodbye to the Buddha. Family by family, they bowed to the Buddha. And then the Buddha named 4 places that can be worshipped after him. The place where he was born, the Lumbini, the place where the Buddha attained enlightenment, Bodh Gaya, the place where the Buddha gave the first teaching and set in motion the wheel of Dhamma, that is Saranath, and the place where the Buddha attained Parinibbana, that is Kusinara. So now we come to the Buddha's last words. It may be, Ananda, that some of you will say, without the Buddha, the sublime teacher, there is no teacher for us. And the Buddha said, no, Ananda, you should not think in this way. Whatever doctrine and discipline taught and made known by me will be your teacher when I am gone. Take Dhamma Vinaya in the place of Sadhu, the teacher. Sadhu is the teacher. Then the Buddha, addressing the monks, said, if any amongst you has any doubts as to the Buddha, the teachings, or the order of monks, ask me now so that afterwards you may have no cause to regret that you did not ask me while I was still with you. But at these words, none of the monks said anything. None had any questions. And all of them were silent. For the second and third time, the Buddha asked the monks, and monks were silent. And the Buddha said, perhaps it may be out of respect for the teacher that you do not question me. Let a friend or a disciple tell it to another friend. That then everybody was still silent. At that point, Venerable Ananda said, it is wonderful. It is marvelous, Lord. It is marvelous, Buddha. I do believe that in all this great company of monks, there is not a single one who had doubts or questions about the Buddha. The teachings or the order of monks, nobody questions about the teachings, the Buddha or monks. Or nobody questions about the path or methods or trainings. Training conduct is so clear. With you, Ananda, then the Buddha said, this may be a matter of faith, but Ananda, I know that not one single monk gathered here has any doubt or question about these things. He knows, the Buddha himself knows. Of all the 500 monks here, Ananda, he who is the most backward is Sotapanna, not subject to fall back to lower state of existence, but is certain and destined for enlightenment. Then the Buddha addressed all the monks, and these were the last words he spoke. Handadani bhikkhave amantayami vo vayadhamma sankara appamadena sampadeta. O monks, this is my last advice to you. All component things in this world are subject to decay. They are not lasting. Work hard to gain your own liberation. Then the Buddha lapsed into jhana stages or meditative absorptions going from level to level, one after the other, even deeper and deeper. Then he came out of the meditation, and for the last time, having come out of the meditation, he passed away into nirvana, leaving nothing whatever behind that can cause rebirth again in this or any other world. Such a strong teacher that we have. Upon the passing away, the that final nirvana happened 543 BC on a full moon day in the month of May, known in our Asian calendar as Vesak. Even when the Venerable Ananda asked the Buddha, how should we, before the Buddha passed away, you see that in Mahaparinibbana Sutta, Venerable Ananda asked, like, how should we proceed with your corpse, the body? And you know what the Buddha said? Just don't deal with that. Let lay people look after it. You do your own practice. It's not your business. You have yet something more to be done, and why don't you focus on that? So this is how strongly the Buddha became that kind of a teacher who to the last minute was teaching the best as he could to Tinno Hantare Sami, to accomplish the goal of I have crossed and let me also cross others. Bodhohang Bodhe Sami, I have realized, let me also make others realize. This is how the Buddha, Pundarikang Yatha Vaggu, like a Pundarika, like a lotus that is born in a Vaggu, in a muddy place. Toyena Nopalippati, he's unsmeared with any mud. Nopalittom hi kamena, I am not smeared with any karma, any raga, dvesha or moha. Tasma buddhosmi brahmana, therefore I am the awakened one. He was born among these human beings, and he stayed free from those states that made his mind polluted. And having reached that stage, he remained so, teaching for 45 years and passed away, having accomplished his sasana mission. Even when the Mara came and invited the Buddha to pass away, at that point, the Buddha said, Tathagata does not pass away until his mission is accomplished. The mission is to establish bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, upasakas, and upasikas who are vyatto visarado, who are very expert in Dhamma, learned in Dhamma, bahusutta in Dhamma. They have learned so much in Dhamma and teach the Dhamma to others. This was the utterance made by the Buddha. So this is the teaching for today. Any questions before I finish? And I know you have a Dhamma talk this evening at 4. Or anything that you like to say, any learning, anything new or old that reminded you something about the Buddha. It's time to share. I like to learn.
It is really nice as well
Theo
as
is here.
sad.
Buddha's teaching. Right? This is just sadness, The looks in the teaching we find that the Buddha was not showing any sadness when he was saying goodbye. He was accomplished in that way. It was someone like Ananda, the attended monk, who was showing that kind of sadness.
I mean, even Ananda, Bante, even Ananda Hamduro was
Very sad.
the attained Sotapanna level, but he
Yeah,
had sadness. Yeah.
He was
of
already.
course, he has not ended. Sotapanna doesn't mean that you don't feel grief. You do feel grief
Yeah.
So
when you
is
have
what
become.
I'm trying to say. So lay people like us may feel sadness about this Buddha's parinibbana anyhow.
Yeah, so the Buddha in this Mahaparinibbana Sutta, gives something called mirror of Dhamma, because the Venerable Ananda was asking questions about many monks and nuns and lay people in Adika who had been practicing meditation so seriously. And he was asking, now they have died, have they born? And the Buddha said, don't ask me that question all the time. You can know it by yourself. If that person had faith in the Buddha, if that person had faith in the Dhamma, if that person had faith in the Sangha, and they followed the Eightfold Path, they are definitely destined to be free from hell realms, and be born in happier places. So if you have faith in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and that is aviccappasada, with unshakable kind of faith, and that kind of a person also is destined uh, uh, to better realms, and is free from hell realms, and also is able to quickly understand what is grief, and analyze, have confidence in the teachings, and awaken with the grief. So I trust, having learned Dhamma this much, that you all have understood some Dhamma. I hear, sometimes, you give comments to other people when you come to funerals. I hear sometimes, one of you saying, nothing to worry. That's a very nice thing to say. So you know what to say. And also you have it inside of you. You have, you say it in a nice voice too, in a very nice, kind voice. This is so soothing to hear. So that kind of a training came to you from understanding the Dhamma, understanding the nature of this existence, the life existence, understanding that we too are here Kadavai Dhammino, they rise and pass away. Upajjitva nirujjanti, having been born, nirujjanti, they cease to exist. Te sang bhupa samosukho. When those conditions settle, there is happiness. So you see your goal there, that when letting the conditions settle, then there is Siti Bhuta experience, cooling down experience. So the path is open to all of you. And all you need to do is walk in the path. And Venerable Sariputta too came to the Buddha, it seems, at some point. It's recorded in the Parinibbana Sutta that um, there is a Sariputta Sihana there, where the lion's roar was made, that the Buddha is, there is only one teacher, it's only the Buddha, and the Buddha is asking, like, do you see, uh, can you see other, future that you make this statement? And if you only see the future, then only you can make that kind of a statement. So that's our Buddha saying, not taking credit for somebody's statement. So And then Venerable Sariputta says, it's because I see how you taught, I see the qualities in you, and I don't have any doubt in you. That's why I made that statement. So the Buddha was not willing to take credits for something, because the Buddha has made the statement that there will be future Buddhas. It may be that this yuga is ending, that conditions are becoming ready for the future Buddha to arise. We don't know. We are just sojourning in this journey and not knowing where we are. Okay then. Any other comment?
I wish if Ananda could get the invitation.
To stay for the kalpa. The Spaces says that it's like living 100 years only. Even then you would not be meeting the Buddha. But if it meant he would live for the whole eon, for the whole like full eon, that means the Buddha would still be living in this whole kalpa. But there are these concepts of asankhya kalpa, like innumerable kalpas. Therefore, we don't really know this length of a kalpa to be exact on how, if Venerable Ananda invited, how long the Buddha would have lived. But it looks like, from the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, you understand that there was no need for the Buddha to remain around, because, the Buddha was already experiencing these kind of excruciating pains, and he was like, why do I have to prolong this body when I have given the teachings and that my students are practicing properly? So the Buddha saw that. And I like to share this with you, that when the Buddha taught, he was flexible. I was giving a talk to Jain practitioners, the Niganta practitioners, and they are wondering why Jainism did not survive in the world, but why Buddhism survived in the world, whereas Buddhism is much less prevalent in India now, and Jainism is somewhat available still. But Buddhism too is existing in India. And for this, you see, the Buddha was futuristic, that he did not put strict rules that monks should be vegetarian, monks should not be doing this, doing that. He did apply certain rules when conditions arose in the sasana, and that was it. So the monks were able to travel to near and far away places and adapt to environments and teach. So this is why Buddhism is still available around the world this way. It's a universal teaching. Anyway, so let us end the session at 3:30. Have Gilampasa for you at home. We missed the time that we can have Gilampasa at the temple like before, but at least we are connecting virtually like this. And at 4, there will be the Dhamma talk. And I think that will also be the end of the program. So let's transfer the merits. May the suffering ones be suffering free, fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief. May all beings find relief. May the devas and nagas find happy homes and also a freedom from suffering. May they protect the sasana and us all. May your departed relatives who are dead and gone find happy homes in samsara, and may they also rejoice in our good karma. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May this have a liberating effect on all of us. Good thoughts, kusala thoughts, cultivated in our hearts, and that may we also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana, final cooling down within this lifetime. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakhantu sasanang chirang rakhantu desanang chirang rakhantu tvang sada. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Therun saranai. එහෙනම් අපි අවසන් කරනවා.
Irwan Sarnai Hamdurun.
ස්වාමිනාන්සේට තෙරුවන් සරණයි සානන්සි.
අවසන්යි.
Right.
රට ජොයින් වෙන්න. 30 චුට්ටක් තියලා.